here, premiere night, and we are ready to go. I've been waiting a long time. I'm super excited. Oh, the wait is over. The torture is over. It's packed in here too. You got all these awesome Batman posters on the wall here. Yeah! Countdown, baby. What's going on, guys? I am back in a better mood, better space. I've seen it for a second time. So I want to start off by saying that Matt Reeves did a great job with this movie. No, it is not better than The Dark Knight. This movie is more of a detective story. If you've been wanting to see a very noir, Batman Detective 7 Joker mix type vibe, this is it. This movie is about the Riddler murdering people. Batman has to go investigate, put clues and riddles together and figure out who his next target is and figure out what the Riddler's plan is. On top of some family drama with the Falcones. His father's connected to the Falcones in a murder, so there's a lot to unfold here. Matt Reeves did something we've never seen, and I am sick of hearing two things. People need to just get off the whole Batman's been done a million times, how many times can you tell the same story? It's the same shit over and over. He did it differently. Why do I say that? Because one, he didn't show the origin of his parents being killed. I feel so differently with this one because the movie starts off, there's monologue playing while he's walking around the city and he's like, I can't be everywhere at once. And all these criminals, when they see a dark area or a dark alley, it slowly pans into the dark. The atmosphere and the tension of that slow pan is just freaky. And the tension that Batman could be there really worked. I think the tension was awesome, and it was one of my absolute favorite parts of this movie. And what they do with the Penguin being a complete scumbag, maggot piece of vile trash, he is a horrible person in this movie. Just like he is in the comic books, they portray him perfectly on screen. Colin Farrell, dude, you did a great job with his role, and I love when him and Batman get in the Batmobile chase. When they do, he's kind of like cocky and arrogant at first, but then as Batman gets closer to him, his arrogance starts to kind of like decrease. He's starting to get more scared now. Penguin was also an arms dealer, and I like how he literally was doing an arms deal at the Iceberg Lounge in front of Batman, and Batman was just kind of like, and Penguin's kind of doing it to mock him, like right in front of him. He's like, yeah, these are drugs. I'm going to have my lady go hand it out to my customers on the floor and they're going to get high. And then she hands him a big bag of money. And they just really nailed the Penguin. And I do respect the decision Matt Reeves made to confirm something they implied in the Long Halloween comic, because this movie is heavily inspired by not only the Arkham video games, but the Long Halloween. Because they do tell you that Selina Kyle's dad is Falcone. And Falcone actually kills Selina's girlfriend in Annika, because they kind of imply that she's a lesbian in this. Selina finds out that Annika was killed because Falcone found out that she was getting close in with the mayor, who told her that Falcone was the rat. Which is why later on in the movie you see Catwoman break into the mayor's house to get into the safe because the mayor had Annika's passport. And then that's when her and Batman get into the first confrontation. Well, what's really awesome about this is you actually find out she was already dead because Catwoman went to go rob Penguin to get money so she could leave the city. And once she was in the middle of it, Batman confronted her and he's like, this isn't the way to do this. She was opening the bags and she's like, oh, I'm going to take this bag. And when she opened the second bag, it was her friend in the bag. And I liked it because it was just random and she freaked out, and they actually showed Batman have a reaction. Because usually he's just always like, but this time he was like surprised by it, because it's year 2, so he's a very young Batman. He's only been doing this for a year. And what also happened in the scene was when you first see the Batmobile, it is truly the best Batmobile reveal in all the movies they've ever made. The sound department just murdered this role, threw it in your face, and they're like, you fucking like that, nerd? And I was like, yes, I do. And you might be asking me, like, what happened with the Falcone thing? About that is, so Falcone ended up ratting out the Maroni family so then he could seize control of everything. He'd have no more competition at all. So at this point, he owned the judges, The cops, the DA, everybody was working under Falcone's belt. And that's also why later in the movie when Riddler kidnaps Coulson, he puts a bomb around his neck and he asks him some riddles. And the riddles all imply like injustice and a rat and a traitor. That's what the answer was to pretty much all the riddles. And basically he was trying to get that guy to admit, because he was recording this on camera, all this information. The Riddler wanted him to reveal who the rat was by asking him these riddles, and the rat was Falcone. And Batman had a little drama. He was concerned about his legacy and his father's legacy. And he finds out from Falcone in the movie that Martha, his mom, and she had a lot of mental issues and she was coming in and out of the hospital all the time. But a journalist found out about this, digging up dirt on his mom. And it was going to make his dad, Thomas Wayne, look bad. So basically, Thomas hired Falcone to get rid of the journalist, but he didn't know Falcone would kill the journalist. He just wanted him to intimidate the journalist. So Thomas threatened to go to the police once he found out Falcone killed this person. And once Thomas revealed that he was going to go to the police and tell them that Falcone killed that journalist, then Falcone hired Joe Chill. They don't say it in the movie, but I know it's Joe Chill. He hired Joe Chill to kill Batman's parents. And that's the night his parents died. And that's how the story was kind of going in the movie, and I thought it was really well balanced. This is a fresh start, so Commissioner Gordon is not Gordon yet. He's just the lieutenant, so he doesn't have a lot of power or say. And he also, what I was worried about was he was going to be very mopey. Oh, I can't save Gotham, you know, it's a cesspool of crime. What's the point? I thought he was going to be like that. He was the opposite of what I expected, and I'm glad I was wrong. So that was really nice. And two things I didn't like was Batman didn't really use a lot of gadgets. I didn't like that too much. And the use of the word fuck was in the wrong place, I think. There's the scene where Penguin's being chased down by Batman and he goes, "I got you, you frickin' psycho." It says frickin' psycho, and I think they should have said fucking psycho. They used the F word earlier in the movie because this happened on Halloween night, and he's like, when one of the sergeants at the police station was like, "I bet you this is your favorite day of the year, isn't it, freak? Happy fucking Halloween." They should have switched the F-bombs, and he should have called him a freaking weirdo and then say happy Halloween. And then he should have said fucking psycho. But I don't like that they didn't really use gadgets very much, but I did like how much they used the fear with the dark shadows. Because when Batman first appears, there's a lot of build-up and tension to it. It's actually rad. He's not in the movie for like the first like 6 or 7 minutes. It's just a shot of this dark area. And then Batman slowly walks out. And it was just the way they filmed it and the sound work they used was incredible. His entrance in this was incredible. I think Catwoman was very well casted and she did a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. And I think the movie with her and Batman driving off on motorcycles and going opposite directions really fit this narrative in this story. And I think the ending of the movie was great. I didn't have a problem with it. Alfred was not in it very much. I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest with you. I expected way more Alfred than we got, but he was only in maybe 4 scenes. I'll probably touch up on him more, but he did take a back seat in this film. Riddler was scary. In the first scene where he kills someone, he's like an animal. You just hear him. He's making these creepy noises like a psycho, and he throws his murder weapon, and then goes and picks it up, and it's like, what are you doing? The way they shot him just made you uncomfortable. Riddler was also very charismatic and relatable. He was really crazy as well. And I think Matt Reeves was very inspired by the Joker's cell phone videos from The Dark Knight, because they did a couple of those in this. And when he was on the phone, he was over the top with his character and he was very crazy. But you also don't really know his motives, why he's doing what he's doing. And when you figure this out, why the Riddler's doing this, it makes more sense. It connects to everything that's going on in the movie. So what he's doing makes a lot more sense, but he's just doing it in a very evil and scary way, because his whole goal in his life is to get Batman to finally admit that he's not as smart as him. Because when they show him in the ending, you can just see it. He's not stable at all. At first he's very calm when he's talking to Batman, but then Batman's not biting into his game. He starts to lose his mind, and you find out he had a plan on top of another plan, which just shows his intelligence level. I do also appreciate very, very much that they took the time and effort to think of this, because this wouldn't make much logical sense The Riddler talks about how he's not very rich. He doesn't have money. So the thugs that he has in the end of the movie are just his fans and followers who believe in his cause. They're hired guns and they're just working for him because they believe in his cause. He didn't pay them anything. It's more of a team collaboration and effort. So I really appreciated that touch. This movie had a similar message like the Joker did, how the Joker's like, if I was dead lying on the street, you'd walk all over me. Well, the Riddler actually mentions how when Thomas Wayne died, all they would talk about is Bruce Wayne the orphan. They didn't care about anyone who else died during that protest that he was at. It showed Riddler's intelligence. I think they did a good job with him. I know some people don't like the way he looks, but I think for this, as an amateur and a start for him, I thought this worked. Because like he said, he didn't have a lot of money, so it's not like he could afford this really expensive costume. I was also a big fan of Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves' decision on his voice. You know, granted, we've had many Batmans, but this, by far, is my favorite interpretation of a Batman voice. Because when we saw Michael Keaton, he kind of just talked normal. He's just Michael Keaton. And then we got Christian Bale. And I like Christian Bale, but he was just over the top. Christian Bale was too much, and then Ben Affleck's Batman had a modulator, and he sounded like a robot. But Robert Pattinson just had a really, soft, deeper voice. He wasn't over the top, there wasn't a modulator. I think this newer one has worked the best. Anyone who is interested in seeing this because they saw the trailer, they marketed this as an action movie and it's not. It's a detective noir movie. There's a lot of investigating going on. There's not a lot of action in this. There is action in it. I'm not going to downplay that, but it's not like the other movies. I would say out of all the Batman movies, this had the least amount of action in it. And the marketing team decided to just throw every action piece in the trailer. So the trailer shows pretty much every action part that's in the entire film. But you're not going to get a ton of Batman fights, which is one thing I was disappointed in. I was expecting more one-on-one fist fights because the fights were really good. You know, Batman would get in a fight with somebody and he would actually take some punches to the face. And he got hit and shot, and one guy shot at him and he's beating up another villain that had a bat and he pulled it from him, and then the guy shot at him and he's like, don't move or I'll shoot you. Batman looks at him and just throws the bat at him. And I understand why they didn't have a lot of action in it, but the marketing team showed all the action. He was in the suit a lot more than I expected, and he talked way more than I expected. All these close-up shots, all these wide-angle shots of the suit, it was beautifully shot. Matt Reeves, you did a fantastic job with the camera work. The cinematography was off the charts. Michael Giacchino, you did really good catching the vibes with the music. You really set the tones of this movie. And without your music, this movie wouldn't have worked as well as it did. One thing I really appreciated the most, Batman observed things a lot. Like when he was talking to Penguin, he was just kind of staring at the drugs. And then Penguin slid the drugs off, handed it to his assistant, and then he opened the bag of money, and Batman's just kind of like... He just observed things around him all the time. He was always looking at stuff. And that hasn't been done. The observing and the using the shadows. We've never seen that before. We have not seen that type of Batman before. I can confirm that. Oh, and one final thing before I give my grade. We got a cameo of the Joker. Like we've never had enough Joker. We can't focus on other villains. Let's bring the Joker in. And I didn't care for it because I am sick of the Joker. I wish we could have a trilogy without him. I can see Matt Reeves having a meeting with them and the executives are like, so I read the script, I love it. One problem, where's the Joker in here? I think Matt Reeves said, you know what, Batman's got a big rogue gallery of villains, let's focus on somebody else. And then the Warner Brothers executives are like, yeah, but they're not the Joker. I know he's got a big gallery of villains, but it's not the Joker, the number one arch nemesis. I kind of wanted to do Mr. Freeze, maybe Poison Ivy, Clayface, Killer Croc, Hugo Strange. Yeah, but we were thinking the Joker. Maybe he could cameo or something. I prefer not to put him in there. It'll deter people to new villains. Let's bring in new villains. Yeah, but we really want to put the Joker in there. I think one little cameo won't hurt. I truly believe that was the board meeting they had with Matt Reeves. It'd be great to not see him for an entire trilogy. You know who I'd like to see more than the Joker? Dick Grayson. I would like to see Robin before I see another Joker. That being said, my friends, I was very happy with this movie. Not disappointed at all. It is not as good as The Dark Knight, which is an A+. So I am going to grade The Batman an A. Well, thanks for tuning in my Batman spoilers review, guys. I'm glad I got to see it again. I plan on seeing it a few more times, and I know there's something you'll find that you like about it. It'd be impossible to watch this movie and not have some critiques and some things that you really thought were well done. That'd be impossible not to find something of both. So thanks again for watching my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed the movie. I know I'm going to enjoy it more several times. Hit the notification bell because I got more reviews coming up, and I want to thank you for watching my review. Until then, guys, I'll catch you movie fans on my next review.